A silent merchant ship drifts across the Red Sea under a hazy sunrise, cutting through calm waters that feel wrong. But somewhere out there, just below the horizon, another group is watching it. And in 5 minutes, they're going to make the biggest mistake of their lives. This is the story of what happened when Houthi fighters in the Red Sea challenged a US Navy helicopter and discovered the one thing you never want to learn the hard way. American helicopters don't miss. But before the chaos erupts, let's rewind. Because the trap they walked into, it started long before they realized it. Over the last year, the Red Sea transformed from one of the world's busiest shipping lanes into one of its most dangerous. The Houthis, armed, motivated, and increasingly bold, began attacking merchant ships with drones, anti-ship missiles, and fast gunboats. And here's what most people missed. It wasn't random. It was a strategy. The Houthis wanted to choke off global shipping, demonstrate military power, and force the world to pay attention to Yemen. But to do that, they had to hit ships even when US Navy destroyers were watching. That was their second mistake. Their first mistake? It was thinking an American helicopter was just another aircraft. 0600 hours. The Maersk Hangzhou, a massive container ship, pushes through the Bab el-Mandeb, its steel hull gleaming in the morning sun. The crew is uneasy, not terrified, but alert. Suddenly, radar techs aboard the ship detect speed signatures, fast, small, and closing. At first, the contacts look like radar noise. Then, the noise becomes an attack. 4 Houthi fast boats burst from behind a cloud bank. Each boat carries heavy machine guns, RPGs, and fighters dressed in black, shouting and signaling wildly. They accelerate to attack speed. And here's where things went from tense to apocalyptic. Bullets smack into the Hangzhou's hull, sending sparks flying across the deck. RPGs whoosh overhead and explode against cargo containers. One crew member yells into the radio, "Mayday, Mayday, we're under attack!" That single message travels through encrypted relays, satellites, and command networks. It reaches the ship that will change everything, USS Gravely. Aboard the USS Gravely, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer alarms flash inside the Combat Information Center. Radar techs watch dots multiplying near the Hangzhou. 4 fast contacts, engaging aggressively. The captain doesn't pause. He doesn't hesitate. He simply says 2 words, "Launch Seahawks." Because everyone in the US Navy knows this rule. When fast boats swarm a cargo ship, the fastest, deadliest, and most precise response isn't missiles, it's helicopters. And the Navy has one helicopter that dominates this kind of combat, the MH-60R Seahawk, a flying, sensor-packed, missile-armed hunter-killer machine. Its nickname in the fleet is the Boat Killer. On Gravely's deck, the helicopter crew is already sprinting. Pilots, crew chiefs, gunners, all of them veterans of real-world battles. The rotors fire up, the deck vibrates, the Seahawk lifts, engines roaring, and erupts into the sky. Call sign, Eagle 51. Seconds later, a second helicopter takes off. Call sign, Eagle 52. And this is where the odds flip. Until now, the Houthis had the momentum, but the moment those rotors lifted, they became the prey. Eagle 51 dives low over the water, flying fast enough that the sea spray streaks across the fuselage. The pilots use the curvature of the earth, sea clutter, mist, anything to stay undetected just a little longer. Inside the cockpit, the crew chief calls out ranges. 8 miles, 6 miles, closing fast. The gunner loads the 7.62mm M240 machine gun. The co-pilot arms the Hellfire missiles. Then the FLIR display lights up, 4 heat signatures around a larger one, the Hangzhou, and each boat firing non-stop. "This is it," the pilot says. "Time to go to work." One of the rebels looks up. There's a shimmer in the sun, a shadow crossing the waves. Then he hears it, the thunder of rotor blades. He knows exactly what it is. And he knows he can't outrun it. Still, they try. A fighter on the lead boat shoulders an SA-7 missile, locks onto the incoming heat signature, and fires. A rocket plume tears into the sky toward Eagle 51. Here's where everything changed. Inside the cockpit, a warning tone screams, "Missile! Missile!" Eagle 51 dumps flares, rolls hard, and dives. The SA-7 flies past the rotor, confused, chasing the wrong heat. It splashes harmlessly into the water. And at that moment, the Houthis learn a brutal truth. If your best shot can't hit a Seahawk, you're done. "Clear hot," the pilot says. The co-pilot squeezes the trigger. A Hellfire missile leaps off the rail, trailing white smoke across the dawn sky. It locks onto the nearest Houthi boat like a guided punch from the heavens. The rebels look up just in time to see the missile's guidance fins glinting in the sun. Impact. Then the boat ceases to exist. Fire and wood fragments rain down into the water. The next skiff jerks to port and tries to escape, gunning the engine so hard smoke pours from the back. But a Seahawk at low altitude is faster than any skiff on Earth. Eagle 52 banks left. Door gunner Sanchez leans out. He rakes the boat with machine gun fire. A 2-second perfectly controlled burst. The engine block explodes. The skiff goes dead in the water. Smoke pours out of its deck. The Houthis jump overboard, choosing the sea over the bullets. Eagle 51 arcs around the burning wreck. Fleur picks up another boat on the far side of the Hangzhou. Target 3 armed. Another Hellfire surges downward with surgical precision. Impact, shockwave, silence. 3 boats gone in less than 20 seconds, and now only 1 remains. The final Houthi skiff tries a desperate tactic: use the merchant ship as cover. They swing behind the Hangzhou and try to hug the hull, hoping the Americans won't fire that close to a civilian vessel. But the pilots don't fall for it. They've trained for this exact scenario. Eagle 52 drops lower, almost level with the waves, and comes around the far side. The Seahawk's nose clears the Hangzhou's massive hull, and suddenly, the last skiff is in full view, broadside. The gunner doesn't hesitate. He fires a tight burst aimed low, not at the fighters, but at the engine and hull. A storm of rounds tears through the boat. Fuel sprays. The motor detonates. The skiff is ripped in half. That's the moment the battle ends. And it took 31 seconds. The sea goes quiet. Smoke drifts across the waves. The Hangzhou's crew slowly emerges from cover, staring at the burning wreckage around them in disbelief. On the USS Gravely's radar screens, 4 red contacts fade to 0. The captain nods. Good work, Eagles. Return to base. The 2 Seahawks circle once more, confirming no further boats, then peel off and head home. Not a single U.S. helicopter was hit. Not a single American was injured. Not a single merchant sailor was lost. But 10 Houthi militants would never return to shore. When news later reached the public, most headlines read something like, U.S. Navy helicopters sink Houthi boats in Red Sea. But behind that short headline was a truth most people overlooked. This wasn't just a defensive patrol. This was a demonstration. A message to every militia, faction, pirate, and rebel group watching. If you attack commercial shipping under American protection, you're not just attacking a merchant ship. You're attacking the United States Navy. And the United States Navy does not fire warning shots. It ends problems.